Bristol City vs Swansea tactical preview, patience v possession. Benjamin Bloom has you covered with all you need to know heading into tonight's clash between Bristol City and Swansea at Ashton Gate. Setting the scene, Friday brings the first relatively short journey into England for Swansea City as they head to Bristol City. With our two Welsh clubs both experiencing Premier League relegation in recent seasons, we get a fun subplot of journeys up and down the M4 and grudge matches involving Bristol City, Swansea, and Cardiff City. Last season Bristol City took the honours with a 1-1 draw at Ashton Gate and then cashed in on the possibly mythical new manager bounce to secure a 1-3 win at the Liberty. The championship moves fast and much has changed at Swansea. Andre Ayew, Mark Gehi and Conor Hourihane are no longer around. The Liberty Stadium is now the Swansea.com stadium. Most importantly, Steve Cooper left and Russ Martin came in as manager. Martin is relatively new into management, and many are watching with interest to see how the ultra-possession football he played in League One with MK Dons translates to Swansea and the Championship. Despite plenty of passes completed and possession recorded thus far, Swansea have just 1 point from their first 3 games. At Bristol City, fans will hope that the metaphorical corner has been turned following a midweek away win at Reading. The Robins have also experienced much change, mostly concentrated in the previous season, with Nigel Pearson and Richard Gould replacing Dean Holden and Mark Ashton in the manager and CEO roles. Last season wasn't pretty, but what a difference a win makes, with Bristol City now sitting on a respectable 4 points from their opening 3. 1-1 draw 5-1, a repeat of last season's game? Betfair, one to watch, Tomas Kalas, Bristol City. Prior to last season's problems at Ashton Gate, Bristol City were held up as a progressive club going in the right direction who bought and sold very well. The much vaunted Brentford model has taught championship owners that after a good 2 or 3 seasons recruiting, the cycle offers opportunities to start to ramp up investment and spend a little more on incoming stars. Bristol City seemed to have reached that point with the arrival of Tomas Kalas ahead of the 2019-20 season for a reported £8 million. Czech Republic international Kalas is one of the many Chelsea squad players loaned out under the Roman Abramovich regime and proved himself a high-level championship operator with stints at Middlesbrough, Fulham, and Bristol City before making the move permanent. Although the headed-kick-it brand of centre-half is still a championship commodity, the position is now mirroring the top level with players expected to be able to distribute the ball equally as well as they intercept and clear it. Kalas fits the hybrid centre-half brief pretty well. His presence in the knockout phases of the Euros with the Czech Republic both delayed his return to Bristol City and increased his market value. Rumours have rumbled, but Kalas is back at Bristol City and in the side, firstly as a late substitute up at Middlesbrough and then as a starter in the victory at Reading. It's a fairly easy leap to connect Kalas' return and Bristol City's first win. We'll learn more about whether the link has any validity on Friday. Bristol City clean sheet 17/10, Kalas to inspire a clean sheet? Betfair, one to watch, Flynn Downes, Swansea. The recent pattern in the Swans recruitment has had an emphasis on out rather than in. In short, the Welsh club have done a very good job at losing players and retooling thereafter. This season we've seen money spent on 2 forwards, Joel Pirro and Kyle Joseph, plus Jamie Patterson and Liam Walsh, 2 players taken from Friday's opponents Bristol City. I'm going to avoid the 2 returning players, however, for my 1-2 watch and look at the most recent signing, Flynn Downes. Downes arrived from Ipswich Town with the usual undisclosed fee quoted, but is definitely a player with a good ceiling who has maybe lost a bit of direction the past couple of seasons. In deference to Downes, and as a long-suffering Ipswich fan myself, Portman Road has not been a good place for most people's careers in recent seasons. The combative midfielder arrived on the scene under Mick McCarthy in 2017-18 and looked at home in the Championship. Relegation followed and bids from Crystal Palace were rejected, with Downes retained presumably to be a dominant force at League One level. For whatever reason it didn't work out, and the player definitely fitted the in need of a new challenge criteria when Swansea came calling. Downes should in theory give Swansea 2 things they particularly need going forward under Russ Martin. Firstly, he'll be able to circulate the ball in the way Martin expects. Secondly, he loves a tackle and should add some extra grit to the center of the pitch for a side I suspect will be targeted with aggressive pressing. Whether he gets the chance to work long-term with the excellent Matt Grimes remains to be seen, but it feels like time for Downes to get his career back and firing at championship level. Key battle, Joel Pirro v Robert Atkinson. One of the running narratives throughout last season at Swansea was the lack of a striker at the club. In some ways it's a feather in the cap of former boss Steve Cooper that despite not having a recognized number 9 Swansea were in the automatic promotion race for a large portion of last season. Of course Andre Ayew and Jamal Lowe stepped up diligently and provided 29 goals between them, but one can only wonder what the outcome would have been if the two had been able to flank a recognized championship goal-getter. It's not that Swansea haven't tried to find that most valuable of commodities. Victor Gyökeres was loaned from Brighton, Morgan Whittaker a youngster came in from Derby, and Liam Cullen got minutes too. This season the solution looks like being Joel Pirro, a 22-year-old Dutchman who we think by championship standards a fair bit of cash was used to recruit. Pirro is somewhat of an unknown quantity, but so far so good, 1 start in the Carabao Cup and 1 goal registered, plus 79 minutes of championship football as a sub and a further goal. Perhaps Friday will be the night for Pirro to make a first championship start? If he does start, Pirro will likely be up against Robert Atkinson at the back for Bristol City. Atkinson has trodden a far more orthodox path to the championship, and where Pirro has been slowly integrated, Atkinson has started all of Bristol City's games since arriving from Oxford. Yes, that's right, a young English centre-half called Rob moving from Oxford up to the championship. Mr. Dickey has set a high standard at QPR for Mr. Atkinson to follow at Bristol City. The two players have come different routes, and if we get them on the pitch at the same time and in direct opposition, could be a fun new-look battle for championship watchers. Joel Pirro last goal scorer 6-1. Can Pirro have a late impact again? Bet Builder treble, under 3.5 goals, Bristol City and draw, Swansea to have 4 or more shots on target at 5.95 18+. BeGambleAware.org